This is the A to Z podcast. Expert insights on leadership, business, real estate, investing, and growth.
How many percentage of your team members are delivering 2/3 of the results? If you're a business owner, how many percentage of your clients are buying 2/3 of your offers? In most cases, I get range between 15 to 25%. And the rule supports that. This rule is called the 80-20 rule, or the Burrito principle, which means 20% of drivers are causing 80% of the accidents. 20% of the disease agents are causing 80% of the sicknesses. 20% of the criminals are causing 80% of the crimes. How many percentage of your people are delivering 80% of the results? Most importantly, out of the 100% time, energy, and resources that you have, how many percentage are you investing on those 20%? When I am in coaching session or in workshops, I ask these questions. I was in a workshop and I asked this question. And the CEO of that organization, who was in the session with a stern face, with determined voice, she said this: AZ, don't discriminate here. We treat all of our clients the same. If I was trying to explain what I was saying is nothing to do with discrimination, I would be in big trouble. And therefore, I created a scenario. I said, if you get two calls at the same time, one from a client which only buys 1% of your products and services, and another call from a client that buys 20% of your product and services, which one do you take first? She smiled and said, no brainer, I'll pick the 20%. I said, that's my point. After talking this client, then you can talk to the other client. It doesn't mean you neglect. You have 20% of your time and your energy, and you can spend that on those clients that are buying 20% of your product and services. If you don't keep your priorities right, if you don't invest 20% of your time, energy, and resources on those 20% that are delivering 80% of the results, well, you'll be in big trouble. Your priorities, they're not right. If you are an aspiring high performer, if you are already a high performer, you're going to benefit from the session and you're going to love it. If you're not, you most probably resent me. Therefore, this is not the right session for you because you're going to resent me. A couple of disclaimers. When we talk about high performers, we're talking about the 20% team members that are delivering 80% of the results. But you have to know that these people have different personalities, beliefs, and principles, and sometimes they're difficult to work with. Think of Steve Jobs of Apple or Jack Walsh of General Electric. Ask people who worked with them. They will tell you. Some people actually use this phrase, which I don't say it fully. He is a hole. But ask the same people. How did they benefit from that high performer? They will tell you all the time, including Steve Wozniak, that because they worked with Steve Jobs, their life completely changed. They have seen the world in different lights, and they're grateful for that. They didn't like the way he was treating them. My disclaimer, therefore, is you can't be a high performer without pissing off people, without damaging relationships, without driving people to death. You could be able to treat people nicely, but at the same time, You can't be high performer. But high performers, they could be difficult to deal with. That's what I want to share before we start and talk about their habits and their characteristics. Let me tell you the most important characteristics and habits of high performers. They always are curious. They don't act like they know it all. That's one of their aids. They always look for something to improve their performance, to become better in what they do. And therefore, they ask questions, they research, they meet other high performers. You'll be surprised. They take notes from other high performers, because they know that maybe there is something they didn't know that could improve their performance. The second thing that you see from high performers is they rise early. The majority of them, I studied them, the majority of them, they rise around 4 to 6. There are some exceptions who are night owls. They don't sleep early, they don't get up early, and they are high performers. But the majority, they rise early and they prioritize. And the most important things are done during those high energy hours. They know what matters the most and they do it first. There is a book by Brian Tracy, which is called Eat That Frog. Do the most difficult thing first. The rest will be easier. The third habits that they have is they always grow. They always learn. They read books, many of them multiple books per week. They go and attend events. They know that they have to outgrow themselves if they want to outgrow their performance. The fourth habit that they have is that they always look for opportunities to improve the way they do things. This includes looking for new technologies, new apps, or a different method, strategy, the way they do things. Why? Because they need a little bit edge to keep on performing. Here are some things that you could do to attract and also retain high performers. High performers are very scarce. They're not a lot out there. And you have to know how to attract them, and most importantly, to retain them. The first thing is you have to create a culture where the culture is not toxic, a culture, a vibrant culture, because they don't like office politics. If the environment is difficult to work with, they walk away because they have other options somewhere else. I remember I was working with a media company some years back, over 10 years. Initially, everything was great. I go there once per week and create a program. After a while, something changed. I didn't know. And the environment became toxic around me. The camera guys, they start to come late. The people I invite, the guests, they're very busy people. And I was telling them, look, guys, these are very busy people. Would you please come early next time? They say, oh, yeah, we'll do. They don't. I had a schedule when we're going to release my show, and they start to mess that up. They also start to record me in the opposite direction of what I suggested. For impact, I had a suggestion how to frame me when they record me. They start to record me totally on the opposite side of what I want to do. Initially, I was trying to tell them, look, this is what we used to do. Would you please go back and watch those videos and do the same thing? They say, yeah. They don't do it. One day I talked to someone who is very influential and supportive of me in that organization. And I asked that person, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on. It's just toxic. It's not productive for me to be here. And he told me, he laughed and said, okay, I know what's going on, AZ. I said, what's going on? Because I want to push you out. I want to push me out. Why don't they just tell me, go, and I will go. I don't want to cause any trouble. I will go. No, they don't tell you. They don't want to even let you know who's doing these things, because these cameramen, the people who were editing my video, scheduling, they're not the one doing this. someone behind, they listen to a third voice. I'm going to record, by the way, the power of the third voice in the future. There is a third voice who's doing this, but I don't know who that person is. And I asked this person, can I ask the decision makers? All of them saying that, what's going on here? What should I improve? I can make it better. Just let me know. I'm not interested in this game, hide and seek kind of game. And he told me, no, nobody gonna raise their hand and say, this is what I'm doing. This is me doing this. They won't. And I just walked away. The second thing you have to create for high performers is you have to give them assignments, tasks based on their passion and strength. I was once sitting in front of a recruiter, and he was happy to hire me and gave me the opportunity to ask questions. And my first question was, I really want to work with the company, but do I gonna get tasks and assignments based on my passion? This is what I do, and I'm good at this. Can I get that kind of assignments and tasks? I could see his face changed. He said, yeah, we'll do that. But I could tell he resented that. I joined that company. The next thing I know is I'm getting tasks and projects that I didn't like. I mentioned I don't like this. I do like this. And now I'm getting those things that I don't want to do. And I reached out again and I said, we agreed on this one. Oh, Izzy, we have so many challenges. We can't just give you things that you wanted to. These are things that are important to me, and you have to work on them. And initially, I really thought that was just a genuine proposition, and I keep on working, but I knew I'm going to walk away. And finally, I walked away. The third environment that you want to create is don't micromanage high performers. One of the most important things for high performers is you have to unleash them. Yes, you have to talk about why and what. Don't discuss with them about how. Give them the freedom. Agree on the target goals. How it's going to be done should be determined by them. If you follow up with them and micromanage them, they're going to walk away. I joined a new industry. I don't want to specify. And I had a mentor. And this mentor, we sat down and I was proactive, telling this mentor, these are my goals. This is how I want to achieve them. And I want to communicate with you every week to report to you my progress and also see if I need any help from you. We agreed on that. The next day, I started to get these texts and calls. On a daily basis, he was calling me. He was texting me, and I just lost it. And I reached back and I called and I said, we agreed on this. We're going to meet and debrief every week. I'm getting these emails. I'm getting these calls. I'm feeling like I'm micromanaged. I know that's not your intention, but I'm feeling that way. You say, no, I'm not micromanaging you, AZ. I'm trying to inspire you. I'm trying to remind you. I'm trying to be supportive. And I explained to him, this is not for me. There are people who want to be micromanaged, even babysitted. But high performers, they don't want to be babysitted. They don't want to be micromanaged. If you do that, you throw them off. They are unable to perform. Of course, with my mentor, we agreed again. He was very humble. He said, I didn't understand the way you work. Glad that you shared this with me. Going forward, this is how we work together, and we moved on. The key thing is this. You could be a high performer or aspiring to become a high performer. You need to develop those habits that we covered here. Or you could be a startup founder or a team leader or a CEO of an organization. You cannot succeed unless you have at least 20% of your people who are high performers. And therefore, you need to know their habits, their traits and characteristics, so that when you hire, you make sure that you hire at least 20% of high performers. If you have to do something, do. Maybe give them shares or give them some perks, some freedom, some flexibilities, and bring them in. But most importantly, you have to keep them there. Otherwise, these are A players. They're going to walk away and get another opportunity. And therefore, make sure that you create a culture where they are in a space where they don't need to play politics, especially toxic culture. It's a rejection of high performance. Second, you have to make sure that they thrive based on their strengths, their talent, their specialty. And thirdly, and most importantly, don't micromanage them. Give them feedback, support them, but don't micromanage them. I hope I shared with you something that are very important to you and to your team. If you have any question, please reach out. I'm also writing a book on this topic. I'm going to share details on this one. In the meantime, if you are a high performer or aspiring to be a high performer, reach out. We're going to support you. Or if you want your team members to become high performers, or to create a culture which is conducive to high performers, please reach out. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to see you with another video. Bye-bye.